Hello. Hi. It's me. Next episode. This is going to be interesting. I don't know how many fucking times I've already said this. Um we got we got a man in the fucking booth. We got a guy that's actually helped make this book from the beginning. And his name is Kevin.
Hello,
Kevin's here.
the one and only.
I don't know what we're doing. Honestly, we're just catching up, man. It's been a long time. We haven't hung out in
Weeks?
it's been longer than that.
Well, I don't want to be too detrimental.
Well, bust out that volume.
Well, I always get told I'm always too loud, so the time that I got something
That's
in
it.
front of me to not,
Be normal,
be
man.
loud.
Now you can be loud. You can be yourself. Anyway, so I just wanted to catch up, man. I wanted to see what was going on and talk about the book a little bit. See where
Awesome,
we're at.
awesome.
You actually listened to all the episodes.
I did. I made that adventure.
It was probably a mess. I'm not gonna lie. I bet it was a mess to listen to.
That's why you got to listen to it all.
That's true. So, I was trying to remember. I was thinking about it. I think it's been fuck. I don't know, 8. I'm gonna say 8 years, right? Or is it going on 8?
It's going on 8.
Is it? Okay. I think I said the past 8. I think I've been doing it for 8. Almost 9 now, I guess, because I did it. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I actually, yeah, I think I did. I think I talked about how this book came to be. I actually meditated. Did I talk about that?
Yes.
I did. So yes, that happened, right? And it just, I'm gonna make a book and all that. I don't remember how long it was from that point until I told Kevin. I don't remember like how many months that was. It wasn't a year. I know that. It was probably just like a few months. I have it right here. Like, going through your filing cabinets again. I have the book right here. From here to about. Let's see. Kevin joined me. Right here. So I was a decent way in. I would say I was like, I didn't date anything because why would I, right? I was probably like 3 months in or so, maybe 3 months, maybe 2. But I think it was the around the time of The Hobbit coming out, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was towards November or December.
I'm gonna look that up. This is one of those things where it's gonna be silently done by 2012 in Romania. I don't know what I asked for the Romania. It came out in Romania on the 14th of December. Well, that's fun, but when did it come out like here? Fucking assholes.
We also saw the 3D version, which I was totally unaware of.
I know.
It was such a bad time.
Oh yeah, I think I don't remember if we smoked or not before that. I think we did. I feel like we did.
I can't remember.
I know, right? I remember I went and saw it. So I saw it with you, and then I saw it as well with Billy a little bit later, and I was so fucking high. We went in
So
there.
they probably, yeah.
Yeah. It was so embarrassing. I was talking before the movie started, and I was saying some like very adult things in the middle of a movie theater because I was so baked. And then like I turned around and there was like a little boy and the mother was sitting next to him.
Oh no, you never told me that.
No, I was embarrassed. Yeah, I don't know.
Nice.
I didn't.
Very nice.
That was a different time. This time it was around 2000. 2012. It looks like December 2012, going in on 13. I had been at this bitch for, when did I meet you guys? 2011 or 2012?
You met me March of 2012.
Really? That's 8 months from this movie here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because we did the whole summer.
now that this is helping, actually.
Well, I hope so.
With the book,
I mean, I don't want you to be over here just without a paddle.
well, the book now that I'm thinking about it, it would have
You thinking to boot
been
it?
if you said 8 months since I've met you in March. I might have only been doing that for like a couple months then.
Yeah, it wasn't real long.
By
You
myself.
told me, hey, I just came up with this. Really don't know where to go with it.
What
Kind of need some help.
did I say I needed help, or did I just like?
I mean, you didn't say that verbatim. You were asking for help, but you did say you didn't know what direction to go. I couldn't tell you what the other two directions were. I just remember you talked about other available routes to go down with story plot, right?
That's how I've always been.
And so I remember we were in the Van Mark 1.
Yeah.
So we were in the Mark 1 and we were off of 52 and 50.
Okay.
No. It was
I remember sitting there near the side of the road.
I think it was, yeah.
We were probably smoking. Why would we be? Yeah. And then like
Semantics.
then you then you said The Hobbit was out, and I was like, that sounds dope. And yeah, we went. Yeah. Wow. Damn, dude. That's a long time ago. Well, it wasn't not that long ago, but when I try to think about it, fuck, dude.
A lot of things that happened in between then.
A lot of things have happened. We were actually in a band together for not that long before that.
No, we were in a band, yeah.
It's a pretty cool band.
You should probably check it out.
Yes, I put the music on a lot of the videos. I'll probably put it in the end of this one too. I think I did Memories in the end of that one with Jacob. That's the only time I ever used it. I was working on a video, I was introing it, and it was gonna be Yesterday. I'm like, that's a good intro song, man. I like that one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I couldn't find a part to drone it where I could just like select that part and just keep repeating it. Because I'm not good at that shit. But yeah, I use our music on this channel.
Copy strike us.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. We wrote it. What are you going to do? Fire us? Or whatever, however that shit
Not
works.
even paying us.
No.
Pay us, and then you can come fire us.
This is free. Yeah, so,
welcome.
okay. December. And then your first thing was the Inakame. It was because of you that the Inakame even fucking exists, which is pretty cool.
I channeled my inner Native American, as we all should. I couldn't tell you where I got that word.
I wish I could. Yeah, I wish I knew.
It just came to me.
Inakume. Yeah, that's so cool.
Came up with the Naku. Pluralisms is Inakume. Why?
The warrior
Couldn't
spirit.
tell you.
That-
Warrior spirit.
That goddamn map that I can't find that you drew of In the Forest.
Yeah,
I don't know where that's
is
at.
that? That's lost in time.
You gave it to me. I gave it back to you. That's the last I seen it.
I lost that probably.
And then I don't. Oh my god! You had it all labeled. Like here's the grounds where the warriors do essentially the riddle the eye, like useful lore. There's so much we've already lost. I've lost like many papers in my first laptop.
That happens in history, though.
Yeah, I mean that happens along the way. And then you got to kind of like rethink of it. And God knows if you got it right. You know what I mean?
Well, if you don't have it right, you got it left.
That's true. So anyway, what have you been up to?
Well, I have been working on the uh, physical, tangible aspects of the book. I have been creating the tabletop version.
Yeah.
Now you could be wondering what exactly is he talking about? Well, I have been creating figurines. Well, I'm not creating them. Another company's creating them. I'm painting them and establishing what they look like, how they're positioned, whatnot. Um, can't drop no big names because we ain't got the sponsorships, but you know who you are. Pay us and we'll plug you. No, I've been working on the tabletop side. Um, been writing out some lore. Um,
We kind of just like freelance. We just do whatever the hell we can,
yeah, we
essentially.
just life is expensive and time is cheap.
Right. So, have you been having any issues? What's been blocking you on the tabletop game, or is it moving forward
Um,
within the realm of what we can control, like the book? I understand like life happens, but I mean within the realm of the book, is there anything been
been
blocking you, or
been trying to get um the uh the plywood for like the different I guess you would say milestones, the major events. Um, so that's the only thing. Um,
significant battles and this and that?
yeah.
I get you. Yeah, that's why we try to meet up and try to talk about it, and then it's try is the key word really, because they'll ask me like, do you have what are the colors of Adrana's flag? I'm like, dude, I don't fucking know. I don't think about that. God damn it. And that blocks him up. So I'm like, let me try to do something I can do. And then I get involved in something else, then this, and then that, and all of a sudden I didn't do the flag yet.
The Green Man would be mad.
Who's the green man?
Well, I can't say his name, but you said the word try.
Try.
Do or do not.
Ah, yeah. Get in trouble with that.
Yeah,
Dude, you know what pisses me off about that? I don't think this is exactly why. I'm going to talk something off topic.
Uh-oh.
This is not book related?
You're breaking Creed number 5.
Get ready. Dude, what was pissing me off about the whole Disney Star Wars thing, if I'm honest, their Mickey Mouse,
Looks like a rat.
yeah, but I'm saying their Mickey Mouse copyright it's going into public domain soon. So they fucking just bought up Star Wars because they needed to make some of that fucking money.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's what's up.
Wow.
I think
Really?
in a couple of years, I think you can look it up, man. The Disney, I think Mickey Mouse goes into public domain soon. Let me just make sure. I don't want to say this like, dude, you're fucking wrong.
Now, let the record show, I was the one that originally came up with the idea of the First Order. And then lo and behold, what was it? A year and a half later?
We're gonna sound insane if we go down that road.
That's fine. That's fine. Let them know that I know that they're listening to my phone.
But it's in 2024. Domain work. Okay, Mickey Mouse specifically having first appeared in 28 will be in public domain work in 2024 or afterward, depending on the date of the product. Unlike copyright extension legislation in the European Union, blah blah blah. I was like, dude, that's probably what's up with that whole Star Wars thing. So they took something. So when everyone's like, oh yeah, I don't even know. I don't know the new places. I don't even fucking listen. I'm like, that's not Star Wars. Like they want you so bad. Like Disney Plus is everywhere. Like you should watch it. Watch The Mandalorian. I'm like, dude, I don't want to fucking watch that. I'm not into it. I like Star Wars. I like Jedi. I like that stuff. I like the philosophy. I don't care that it's about the Mandalorian. Like I don't care. It's not about what I want to see. but that's just me.
I'm right there with you. So episode 7 came out in 2015.
Oh shit.
I came up with the idea for the first order way back in the beginning of 2013.
Is that just the name, or did
I
you come
mean,
the theme?
I don't know if I can get away with saying this or not without getting
No one's
sued.
paying for it.
So let me just go ahead and state for the record, I know for a fact it was my idea. I should be getting royalties for it. But go ahead, steal my idea, Disney. It's fine. I know you're listening, you and your Chinese pals.
Well, I don't know, man. Anyway, I just want to get that out of the way because I feel like that's a theory. I feel like, I mean, it's not even like, it's like not even far fetched to say like, well, why wouldn't you buy something massive like Star Wars, where they pay billions of dollars for it?
You know what else you can buy that's massive?
Yeah. Go ahead and say it.
This massive discount on discount tires.
Oh man! All right. What else is it gonna be? I don't know, man.
It's going to be a schlong list of ideas.
So, you said you've been working on the game, right?
Yep,
And
been
you just
working on
kinda
the
blocked
game.
up because you don't have a lot of information coming in.
Well, I don't have a surplus of information. I'm also short on plywood.
Like literally plywood. I thought you were using it as like a symbol, or you know.
No, I'm not
You're
dodging
actually-
around. I actually need 3.25-inch plywood if any donors are out there. And I mean, I don't need like your tabletop scraps. I need sheets of 3.25-inch plywood to build off of.
What is this for?
This? So, I need to base all the stuff on it, like the
Okay.
buildings, the actual terrain pieces. Because if you're just building off of cardstock, all of that Elmer's glue is just going to warp everything. The styrofoam itself doesn't really have a good platform, so
Yeah.
it needs to be on wood because you're gonna have a hard time warping wood. Um,
How do you plan on keeping the longevity of it when it comes to like the solutions and when it, the adhesives and all that stuff? Like how exactly do you keep that in mind? You know what I'm saying? For like not posterity or anything. Like we're not making fucking Michelangelo shit here, but I don't know. I guess I'm wondering like how do you, when you make something like that? How do you? What's going on? I guess. What are you trying to do?
so I know what you're asking, and the answer is Viagra. No, so the longevity of it, right? That's kind of where you can't use like that thick cardboard for your science fair projects or anything. You need something to build off of, and that's where the plywood comes in. Or else you're not going to have a good foundation. The cardboard's going to be really susceptible to things like moisture, and that's where you get a lot of warping, and your chances of cardboard getting damaged, the whole structure of it just you're looking for the integrity of it, right? And so that's where you start. You start off of a good foundation, a good base, and then you build off of that. Also, you're able to play with your materials on the plywood. You don't have to worry about things like cardboard being paper mached and then that ruining the actual integrity or structure that you were having in mind. Um, you're a little bit more free with how you're able to construct and manipulate on top of your platform. Um, so originally, when I was creating the academy, things got a little wonky because I didn't have it based on a wood platform. I was just kind of freeballing it,
Yeah.
and the the building started to lose its original shape that I originally wanted, and then I started getting crazy with it. I started building off of that to keep what was left in my original mind's eye blueprint going, and so I kind of had to stop there for a while because I didn't have any plywood, and then I got some plywood, but then I moved on to other projects because I was frustrated with that one. So now I'm over here like a juggler. I got a couple projects going on, so I figured we'll just push all of them out
Yeah.
at once. Just give you a mass dump.
I actually am in the
Nice.
same boat as you. A lot of my problems are I'm working on too many things at the same time. So I'm working on a map of a place I don't know where the fuck that's even at. It's just some random ass place. It might be important. It might not be important. I don't know. I'm also working on the middle of the book. There's a spot that needed editing. I'm doing that. Then I'm also working on the end of the book. And then I'm also doing these episodes of like catching up. And because my problem is I'm always fucking like, I'm in the middle of something. It's like, because it's just me, I don't have someone else like, it's not already made.
And that
So it's
middle
like,
edit's going to be a
it's a
huge-
beast and it's already throwing everything else behind. So
Right.
it's just, it's a big mess. I can fix it. I've destroyed things worse in my life and rebuilt them. Like but the problem that I'm having is like when it's like, okay, so like, and then the Serpentine Order are involved and all that. That's good. That's a good idea. And then all of a sudden I'll be like, wait a minute, how and what? That doesn't. But how would they do that if this was going on over here? Fuck, like then why would that happen over here? So it's just it throws myself into this thing where I got to make this episode to try to figure it out, like the story of like Cypress and his journey and all that. I'm
right.
like what the fuck is he doing this for? And or like when I'm like, well, how if I think I said it once in another video. I was like, why would they get Cypress involved if they're the Serpentine Order? Like, why would they need him? Like, I had to come up with the whole reason with this kid and with Eris and with this like, dude, like, there's a lot of questions like that are huge plot holes. So it's the same with yours, except mine's like more mental. It's like up here. Like a lot of my issues are in my head, all right? But like the story issues where you're just running out of supplies. That's how I feel too. Where it's like, fuck it, I need something to re-energize this, and that's what like conversations you and Jacob would help me. It's like, guys, let me just hear what I'm saying. And you tell me like, am I crazy? Am I thinking too hard, or do I have a legitimate issue? And a lot of times, you guys always agree with me. Like that's a legitimate issue we have to solve.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Does it normally burn when you pee?
No.
Well, let me put it to you like this. If it doesn't burn when you pee, is there something wrong?
No, but if you pee blood, that's where the issues lie. Other than that, I think you're okay.
Oh,
Burning pee just means drink more water. And maybe have an infection, but whatever. Just water it out. You'll be all right.
you might be coming down with scurvy or something.
I've had scurvy.
Oh,
It's just like, how do you get that? Like, I don't know. Only drinking pop and eating candy? I don't know. You can get it pretty easily. It's a stupid thing to get. In this era, like, you never heard of vitamins? I did, but I just forget to take them.
do you ever think about eating some fruit?
No, I hate fruit. But yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't
A lot
know
of
my
issues happen.
vegetables.
I'm okay with it now. If someone cooks it, I don't do my own cooking.
You cook your fruit?
Not fruit. Oh, you said vegetables.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I'm okay with vegetables. Like fruit, whatever.
Oh,
like,
Mortal Enemies over here.
I'll have it, whatever. But I don't like cooking. So if someone cooks for me, man, then I'll eat whatever the fuck you put in front of me. I had fucking cucumber and whatever that yellow one that looks like a cucumber, squash or something.
Well, which one?
I don't know. I don't know this shit. But like I had that cooked for me, like so I ate that. It was pretty fucking good.
You got
That yellow squash.
Well, you got.
It feels like when you eat it, it feels like it's cleaning your teeth, all squeaky and shit.
You got crookneck squash.
Is this
you got
real?
Butternut squash.
I don't know. It's yellow though, so that's the one I had.
You got acorn squash.
I don't know, man.
He's the fucking Bubba of squashes.
A lot of them.
Squash gumbo.
Shrimp stew. Shrimp.
King shrimp.
The you got the what did
Shrimp
you say?
scampi.
Shrimp kebab. Shrimp gumbo. Shrimp salad. Yeah, I know. Damn. A lot of our issues are just stupid fucking things like that, and then you get ADD on top of it, and then like all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck was I just doing here? Was I supposed to be? Dude, I'm like almost nervous whenever it's like I'm talking about a topic and then I have to like go get evidence of this and like find a paper or an article that I've written. I feel like I'm venturing across like in the old days when it's like you have your house in the cabin and the guy's got to go for a month and go get supplies.
Yeah.
That's how I feel because I don't know if
a trip out to the general store.
Am I gonna make it back? Am I gonna remember? It's like, well, you just listen back. Yeah, but I go off of like stream of consciousness when I speak. So it's like that context is gone. Like, yeah, but you're talking about the Forgotten King. Yeah, but why? I was gonna go like that shit. And it makes me nervous every time I go and look for something. So you can hear it in all the other episodes. It's just like, what the fuck? Now we talk about this, and you hear me just fumbling, like, I don't remember what I was talking about. Like, why did I do this? And then I go listen back, and I forgot what I listened to.
Searching for Martus.
That was a rough. That one was pissing me off.
I was talking about Martus, but now I'm over here talking about the spirits.
That was rough. I need like a guide. I need that person in my life that's like, let's just keep him on track, and he'll be all right. I'm fucking everywhere about this book. It's really good, but then like the way I describe it, it doesn't sound like it's fucking good. But I'm glad that you're
just as
right.
bad as you.
Yeah, and you're right there with me at least.
All right, we're going to talk about this. So, Kevin, what do you think? Well, I think about mayonnaise. It's bad. I didn't ask you about mayonnaise. I asked you about the lore. Oh. Well, all right, so this happened in this time, and ketchup tastes pretty bad, too.
I wonder what it is about people like that.
Smooth brain.
Is it that, or is it like they don't?
Did you just insult me? No.
Is it that, or is it something like they're? I always thought I was just so in the moment. That's why. It's like, fuck, I don't even listen to what I say half the time, and then all of a sudden it's out, and I'm like, wow, I don't remember saying that. Is that a problem, or do you feel like you are like so in the moment, or do you feel?
I've said things, and then somebody will be like, "Wait, what did you just say like 5 minutes ago?" I don't know. You've asked me that plenty of times. Like, wait, what was that you just said a few minutes ago? Well,
exactly, and then it's like I would talk to them, and then they'd start realizing I'm recording on my phone. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, no, it's fucking not, because none of us can goddamn remember a damn thing we talked about. If I don't
prove
record
it to you that you said it.
Yeah, and then like you're always like, oh no, it's up here, I'll always remember. And then I ask you, and you're like, I never created that. That was the clandestine order. Like, no, Kevin, you said that. So I will record every fucking conversation we had, like before this was all up. I have 5 hours of us riffing about subjects like in my phone that's taking up a lot of memory that I cannot delete.
I have
us just hashing out
dementia.
I think all of us are fucking floating there, but we all use our brains so goddamn much. It's usually like they'd say like, oh, if you think more, challenge your mind a lot. I feel like I'm mentally challenged enough with this fucking book, dude. Like this shit gets rough after a while when like this is all that you do. You're writing this book that's like taking away friendships. It's like made our friendships into like work relationships. It's like it's I don't even have room for like random things anymore. Like I forgot there was even an election going on. I'm sitting here making my own damn election, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a thing. Kelly went and voted, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that was all happening. I forgot Halloween happened. It's just like it takes away a lot of real life.
Sometimes you just need to get lubed up.
Oh, whatever. But you know what's to blame for all this is like fucking Star Wars.
Oh, I was gonna say snow.
No, it did happen in the cold time.
We don't talk about that.
I have no problem with snow. Most people don't even get it.
It's not.
They're like sitting there like it's gonna like if they do get snow, they panic about like
It's
not
not-
even like an inch. Like that's nothing.
But
Oh, you should be used to it, man. You've been living here long enough.
want it. I don't want it.
Then why do you live here? It snows a lot, man. It gets cold as fuck out here.
Well, I guess we should go to the book for that answer.
Okay. Like the holy book? Are we talking about the Bible?
Ooh.
Or are we talking about our book? I hope we're not going to the Bible
Are we gonna get paid for this?
Which is another thing. Why does the Bible cost money? I thought it was supposed to be free.
It is free. It's
Go to Walmart.
spiritually free.
What are we doing now? Is this about the cold? I don't think I was done asking you about your models and stuff.
You were,
Was I?
and then we went on this long tangent.
Was I?
I did it.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, I started it.
because I had some questions about the models.
Oh,
I also want to talk about something that I've been racking my brain around for the past few weeks, friend, and that is, would you say that we're in our post-industrial era? I've been imagining the book that way of late. Between 1890 and 1912 is where I'm imagining us. Does that seem right to you? In some aspects, not in every aspect.
I was gonna say this to you. I think it should be a little bit earlier.
Than that?
Yeah, like
How early are you thinking?
1820s.
We're talking like before Napoleon, right?
No, Napoleon was
that was
defeated in 1815.
Never mind, I got that one wrong.
So I was thinking, so there has to be a certain evolution of technology.
Yeah.
Certain things have to come before others. And I know we're playing with fantasy, but still there has to be some type of hyperrealism
Yeah.
within that. Like gravity, it's not whatever goes down comes up. Question.
So what are the issues technologically that are keeping us in that area?
So you said you wanted a hybrid of a Bronze Age and what was it?
Not Gentleman era, was it? Like 1700s? Did I say that?
No, you said a
Did I just say it? Post-industrial?
yeah, you said you wanted the Industrial Age and a Bronze
Industrial.
Age.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
Somehow.
there's certain aspects that I don't know if that could work.
Well, that's whatever. I don't care.
I mean, I feel like we would have to be like a little bit before.
With the new idea. Okay. I don't care. I mean, I'm not like set in stone. Like this doesn't fucking happen. We're not writing it anymore. I'm throwing it away.
You can't skip the trains. We need the trains.
Yeah, that was one thing been battling in my head. We had at one point thought maybe trains.
Monorails and
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm like, I don't know if that's a good idea. I have not. If you read the book,
Can
I
always
don't.
go with canals.
But I've never made one mention of travel on fucking horses. Because I'm like, do horses exist in this world?
Sure.
No, they don't. They don't exist. There's no such thing as camels. They're called charrette. I can't make it's. Everything's got to be not real. I can't say even fucking a cat. You know what I mean? Like nothing is real here. This is all new. This is a whole other planet. Like you got to commit, 100%, and that's hard in my mind. My mind's telling me to do. I'm not saying this is what we have to do, but what I'm feeling like I can't even say fucking grass. Like is that what they call it? I couldn't say Bible. I can't say sun. There's no sun. There's no moon. We don't have that. We have Kramos and Dree.
Can we call a giraffe a Bob Jim?
If we even have giraffes, that's like, you know, Jacob had an app where he was doing planetary, not an app, it was a video game where it's like simulating the planetary,
Oh, yeah.
whatever the fuck it was. You know how hard it was to make our planet work in the solar system? And then there's other ones that you can like do evolution of animals and creatures. I'm like, we need to do that so we can see with our planet what kind of creatures are here, and then we can start naming them and shit. Like, I want to take it that far. But I feel like people like you guys help me say, no, that's a bit fucking much. Like people aren't expecting you to make every single thing up. I'm starting to work on language right now. Like, well, there's nothing as English. Like, well, we got to start making a new language. Then all of a sudden we got that fucking that book they found in the medieval era. What's got a bunch of drawings in it, and no one can translate it. Now we're gonna have a book like that. No one can translate. Anyway, I'm gonna sneeze. Fuck. I feel a sneeze coming. Yeah,
You only sneeze if you're a sleaze.
do you So if we're talking, you're trying to keep it 1820s
Ish.
just maybe using a little bit more armor, like maybe because it's not so expensive in our world apparently.
So yeah, I mean, I was thinking like we could still like how you could see cuirassiers in World War One,
Yeah,
where people are still wearing armor for whatever reason, even though technologically it's way outdated.
yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. I was just thinking this book is like what we're walking into. 1647 is what 1912 was before World War One. They had no clue how this new artillery, how these new machine guns, and all this new technology was going to affect the war. They thought it was going to be easy, fight the same way, and then all of a sudden, then they started doing trenches. You know how it goes. That's why I was like, are we in that phase now because of Tantorum where maybe it's not World War One, but it's like that, where this new technology that exists is about to change everything that we know about how wars are fought in Voss with Tantorum and Lyria and all that.
Yeah, because one of the things that has been invented.
Oh, you can talk about it. I'll help you.
Oh, you'll help me while I talk? Ah. Wunderbar.
There's some things in there of yours. That big white picture of the.
Yeah, the big white picture of the big black thing.
Why did you send me that? Just keep looking at it. Look at a heart.
Just go ahead. Take it all in.
Drink it in.
Let it just marinate inside of you.
Like you had some sort of spiritual change from this picture, and you really want to convince me, like, dude, you'll feel it too. You just gotta let it happen.
Just relax.
Pretentious.
Inhale. Oh my goodness, right? What is wrong with these guys? We were raped in our souls.
So we're talking about the new technology.
The new technology that is
Tantorum.
at hand in Tantorum.
We gotta talk about gunpowder too, and what it is and all that. So
Yeah, the
history.
Well, it's not gunpowder.
Well, to first say, so we don't just say the word and they're like, what are you talking about?
Oh, we can't tell you a. So one of the things that we have is the Vok Firth 574. Now, that is a charging handle and detonator for the Vok Firth.
Can't read it, huh?
Yeah, it's just so big. Um, you got the Vok 89, or I'm sorry, Vok 98. Wow, I can't read today. And the Vok 574. The Vok 574 is a high explosive charge. Um, it's an adapted pipe of roughly 3 feet. The uh, the usage of it is for obstacles and breaching capabilities. The um, I guess new thing is to stack them. They're threaded, so you can make successions of different charges to where you're able to do the breaching, but also mask your movements with the with the smoke. So you're able to use high explosives with smoke rounds instead of just high explosives or smoke rounds. You're able to do a two birds with one stone type deal. This was invented
Oh, that's gonna fall.
shortly thereafter the Battle of Evolia in 1328. It was first used in the Murph campaign, which started in 1355.
So
Not
how long has gunpowder been around?
good question.
Sorry, it's not gunpowder. What is it called?
Brown Corbott.
On Corbott?
Brown Corbott.
And you said that they got it near, was it Nura? Was that the major?
Yes.
That's like, Nura's like, you look at the map, and there's it's the west continent down there. I don't know, it's down there somewhere. It's not near that chain of islands at the bottom. I'll circle it, and it's right here. Right there. See? That's it. That's what we're fucking talking about. That's where this brown Corbott comes from. And obviously that's our gunpowder, and it's going to play a massive role. And as he's looking, he's trying to find out what year it was that it was discovered. Right now, we are in the year 1647. Right? Is it 1647? I always say that. It's 1647, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I was hoping it wasn't 1467 because I do that. I can smell the wood of that guy's cutting.
Better than cutting cheese.
Amazing. You can smell it. After I quit smoking, I can actually smell shit like that. That's that far away, and I can smell the wood being cut.
You smell wood?
You not? You can't smell that?
No, Sam. I can't.
Damn, he's got a smell. So, yeah. Anyway, talking about that. That's changed the face of the world. So, you know what another problem is after that you find this that I always want to know? How global are we? Are we global like Bronze Age global? Or are we global like 1800s global? Like, I'm fucking nervous because it's like, well, then if we're that global, 1800s style, we need to know more what's going on the continents of Valengur and the one that I'm working on now. That would be so close to us. We'd have relationships.
What if I told you we're as global as IBM?
And we're fucked because I might have to know everything.
Also, we'll be waiting for that check for the plug-in. IBM.
Big plug.
Quick plug. I actually do not have the date for.
Do you even know it? Relatively? Just be relative. Fuck it.
Only if I can be a dirty uncle.
Right.
It's the only
200 years
relative I wanna
ago, 400 years ago. Chinese fireworks.
That's racist.
That's where we got them, though, right? Chinese fireworks.
Yeah, we got them from China.
We just looked at it. We're like, you know what we could do with those? Our white brains, like, we could kill with those things.
So, question: if it came from China, why do we have Roman candlesticks?
Because they roam around. That's how I understood it.
Like my data
Roaming. Like what?
plan? Like my data plan?
Yes. Do they even do roaming anymore?
I've experienced roaming, but
I've never. I says I get it, but I've never been charged for it. I don't even think roaming exists anymore. You died around the same time as your father.
that's pretty hot.
Anyway, so we can't just have dead space here. Yeah. Gunpowder. Sorry, brown Corbett. Now, there's a section of my book in the beginning that I actually read to. Do you remember this? Where I was talking about that. I never said what it was called because how the fuck would they know? But it was like a hand cannon gun. You remember what I'm talking about? Put a fist-sized hole in a man. You know what? I might have the actual.
Yeah.
I might have the actual lore. It was a report I made. The one that Kevin wrote, which might be in there. You called it a MK35 bolt. MK35. You remember that Mark 35?
I do.
That's what I'm talking about. Can you describe that for me? Can you tell me what we're dealing with here? Do you remember how I described it?
The Mark 35 is a cylinder style weapon that is chambered with 5 rounds in the cylinder. It's a new piece of technology. The cylinder itself is encased within the housing group of the receiver. What does that mean? That means the cylinder acts as a internal magazine. So could you say that it's overly developed in some aspects? Yeah. But that's how the Torx are. They're very mechanically engineered. There's new toys in development. And the Mark 35 is the newest to come out with the
Wait, if they're doing that, then how is our actual artillery? Like, like how has that changed? Do they have similar systems for that?
I was thinking that we've moved from a bore style loading into a breech loading.
Okay.
So I guess in some aspects we're a little closer to the 1900s.
See what I'm saying? We're getting there, dude.
When you're right, it makes me feel so dumb. Like, oh, I don't like this, but look at what you're doing. I know.
We're like walking in to the 20th century. So what you're telling me is we're a little bit closer than you thought we were.
Yeah.
If you were to take what you know about the technology that you have, feel free to talk about whatever you want.
Horse.
Where would you place us in history in the real world, and which country and all that, so we can get like a grasp of like what we're looking at here?
I would be looking at a France or Russia. Possibly a Russo-Japanese War of 1905, to where the technology has been developed in years prior. It's just now you have this moment in time to where things are able to be tested on some type of battlefield and some type of number, not yet perfected like in World War One, but still the cards are there, and the guinea pigs are us.
So we're talking about 1900s, kind of right where I said we were going to be. That's cool. I figured, I'm like, dude, I'm feeling the vibe.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, I was thinking, it was, I don't know how to word this. It would be kind of interesting to see a, quote, fantasy that's in that era. Because you see fantasy in medieval times, you
All the
see
time.
you see fantasy even like steampunk 1800s. You see, I don't know, there's a lot, but it's even colonial looking fantasy like I think Greedfall, a video game, and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
But you don't really see a lot of fantasy in this industrial era, post-industrial era. You know what I mean? 1900s to the teens. That would be kind of cool to see guys running through trenches and shit like that. But there's like wizards somehow. Like what the fuck? It's not really wizards. I mean, obviously, if you listen to all the shit going on, it's a little different than that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see a fantasy quote in this area, because then we can start adding sci-fi. Those sci-fi elements that we kind of been missing out on. If you know what I'm saying. Let me see something. Or is it just me? Is that sound?
No, it's not unrealistic or unobtainable.
But then at that point, it's like, when was a machine gun actively used confidently in combat? From what your understanding is.
So the first time it was used competently,
Yeah.
so you had the Boer Wars, which was before World War One. You had the pickle gun.
Mm-hmm.
So you had the Gatling gun. Um, 1860s was one of the
That was the Gatling gun, wasn't it?
yeah.
So we're talking between the 18. No, it's like a machine gun. We're not talking 1900s.
Well, yeah. I mean, so that's where we get into the
What we
evolutionary stages.
what we
of, like,
understand is
what
a
you
machine
mean,
gun
like,
right
machine
now.
gun with rounds, brass, and links.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1900s.
1900s. Does that mean we need to have one? But here's the thing, though. We can take and add whatever we want. We can pull that away and add a more, let me quote, like magical, and I'm using that very loosely, kind of like fantastical thing. Well, we don't have machine guns. We have this light thing. You know, whatever it is, like it shoots aura energy through people. I don't fucking know. We can be as like lenient as we want on that shit. Because the thing is, I don't want to get like I do want to keep it realistic in its own way and evolve correctly and make sense, but I also don't want to like totally just mirror our world.
Right, right.
I mean, we're already kind of not because their 1640s is real life's 1900. So it's a
Yeah.
lot different. They've grown from year zero to 1640 in like fucking no time, like really quickly.
Yeah.
They didn't have a BC time. There was no BC time. Like it was the forest and then that. So we're talking about a history. They didn't have to restart and go into a dark age. I mean, our dark age was Tantorum, but that was what 200 years.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's our dark age. Like, but what did you do during that? We built Tantorum up, and then we almost colonized the fucking south. Like, well, that doesn't sound that dark to me. The problem is that I always think about when it comes to all this, like, okay, 1647 somewhat mirrors our post-industrial age in a way. Why aren't we more global than we are? What, we just work in Nera major and minor a little bit, but why haven't we traveled the world yet? The world should have been discovered. We should have other countries and being involved in us. And that's what worries me. Well, we'd have to come up with new ideas to say, well, no, they didn't. The reason you guys aren't going across the world to on your fucking steamships to get this and that is because of like we could find reasons. It's just we have to. There's a lot of issues. That's what stops me sometimes. Like fuck, like we're in the industrial era. We don't have this shit solved right now. We're still sitting in Voss like that's all there is. Like that's an issue. You know what I mean?
That's why I was saying, like, because of the time age that we have,
That's
we,
why
we
you
don't
want to pull
have
back.
right.
But
we
then
don't have
our
certain.
weapons technology isn't pulling back.
We can scale back.
We can scale it back. You'd be okay with that?
Yeah, yeah. I'm totally down with muzzle loaders and stuff like that. Like,
That'd be sweet. I think it's one of those things like what I had to face when I do a full rewrite. It's one of those things that if we commit to like no, we're industrial era, we're gonna have to relook at this map. We're gonna have to rethink our whole histories. It's gonna basically be one of those things where it's like you just need to get a new car. You know what I mean? There's no more like you could fix this up just so much, but it's gonna break. I think we're at that point. I'm at that point with the fucking story, where if I keep adding more things, it's broken. I'm gonna have to write a whole new story, which I've thought about. I don't know if we should do that for the. I mean, this book has gone through a lot of transformations, but can it survive in a total facelift like that? Because for me, when I'm honest and I'm writing Eris's story, I don't even know. I don't the way I talk about it. You can't tell if it's 300 BC or fucking 1340 AD. You can't even tell. I never talk about technology. I don't talk about what they're wearing. I don't talk about the buildings that much. It's just I leave it up to the imagination of the reader. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I never really talk about anything in detail.
I've noticed that.
Yeah. Not like on purpose, it's because my lack of imagination in those moments. It's just like I don't know what that looks like. And then all of a sudden I'm writing an 8,000 page report on like how does the fucking clothes look on this person's body. Like it fucks me up too much, right? I just have to skip over it. So for me, that's why it's so open when I'm like, is it fucking 1900 or is it, actually 1600? That's why for me it's so confusing. For you, maybe it's more defined. Because you imagine it. I don't imagine physically. I just, you know what I mean? Like you might be able to actually visually see it. And that's why for you, it's like, no, I can not see an industrial era. Jacob describes his people as, almost like at most 1300.
Okay.
When he talks about, you know what I mean? If you listen to it, doesn't it sound like maybe 1400?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me. So then I try to keep that in mind. Well, they're also kind of known as being tribal and like low quality people. So that would make sense that you guys are in the 1600s and maybe you don't have the what were those original quote guns that they had where they just like it was like a fuse and they just It was like a fucking. You couldn't even aim it. Essentially, I forgot the.
Blunderbuss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then there was the what was before the flintlock?
Flint pan.
Some shit, or like it spun.
Oh, wheel lock.
Wheel lock. I'm like, maybe we're in wheel lock phase, but maybe Flint, like maybe just like technologically, we figured out guns quicker than they did on Earth. Kind of one of those things. Like, we just
Yeah.
figured it out quicker.
Yeah.
Tantorc ingenuity. I mean, like, it's one of those things where, like, when you look at like, what is that? What is that thing that you like to? It's Warhammer. Is it?
Oh, Warhammer. Yeah.
Don't the dwarves kind of have they figured out guns at that point?
Yeah.
It makes sense. Like, wouldn't they have figured out guns quick
Yeah.
for anyone else? It's one of
Yeah.
those things. Where, like, Tantorm just kind of they saw that and like, well, let's kill people with that fucking thing, you know. Yeah, man, I don't know. One of those questions. I'm okay with whatever as long as we commit to it. We just have to fucking commit to it.
Right.
That's our problem. We keep floating around ideas. Like, we just got to say, nope, this is it. If it's up to you right now, give me a real world time where you feel comfortable being in, and also technologically how far you want to go with it.
So, given all of the current circumstances with our global efforts,
We're not much more than a Bronze Age.
yeah, really,
Just we've got like technically it's three quote I don't even know if it's called continents, like bodies of land, but it's the size of like one body is the size of Europe, so it's not like it's small. We're probably medieval when it comes to like how much, even later than medieval, like how much trading and all that stuff. I would say think of it like this: that's all Europe. Then you got that continent we're working with, that one, and this one, and then that one too. I'd say we're at least like 1600s, man.
yeah,
It's about right.
about the Renaissance
We're,
age.
we're not dealing with like an area the size of fucking Rome. That's it. Like, this is way bigger than that. From North Voss to southern Tantorum, I think was like from Denmark, the top of Denmark, all the way down to like the beginning of Africa. That's how long that fucking piece is. And then you got other continents. So yeah, I'd say we're looking at 1600s of how far we've moved in the world and our trade and this and that. Like, we're not quite the 1700s, but we're closing in on it because you guys are moving down to the Anuras. And so are we. And then we're also talking about another continent over here that we're working with. So I think that we're floating towards 1700s closer than we think we are. You know? I think we might be okay. It wouldn't be a stretch to say early 1700s maybe, but the technology Tantorum is like cusping 1800s.
Yeah, it's like
That's not that bad.
Yeah, a mixture of a Victorian and yeah,
Victorian, yeah, something like that, with a slight bit of industrialization, just a slight bit, not a whole lot, nothing like smokestacks and fucking factories and shit like that, but getting there, pretty close. And that makes me think of like the conflict. So obviously we're fighting. Okay, that's a perfect question because you're the guy that does this stuff. I'm gonna say Freuden War, 1604. Is it 1607, 04? Early 1600s. Describe to me a battle between Tantorum and Adrana. How do you imagine that looks? And I know I don't know Adrana. I'm talking like formations, weapons used, durations of battles, like just kind of. And obviously, you don't have to be 100%, but just ballpark. How do you imagine early 1600s a war between our nations going in the Murphos, by the way? And you can just riff it, man. I'm not asking you like this is it.
I was thinking there would be points in time to where you would have your knights and cavalry.
Okay. How are those formations? I mean, are we
Kind of like
talking
rank and file.
rank and
Standard,
file
yeah.
stuff? Um, can you talk to me about just how Tantorum lines up their men and just like how did they approach a battlefield? Just give me the kind of details of just a Tantorum in that era.
They would
How they
work in
set up their
tandems.
flanks.
So if one side started to retreat, it was usually done for a tactical reason to get the enemy to draw in so that the um, left or right flank could then do uh, a, a pincer movement.
Right. How much cavalry usage is there in Tantoric armies at this time?
Mm, I would say probably about 3 regiments, 4 regiments.
Okay. What do they heavily rely on in the early 1600s when it comes to a victory on the battlefield?
I would say they've probably taken note of some naval equipment and tried using and adopting that on land.
Okay.
So trying out the new age artillery.
And what is New Age artillery?
Just like in the sense of like dawning a new age from where it was originally based on the high seas, and now you're trying to adapt it to a new theater, a new way of fighting.
So, if you were to take an equivalent to the real world, you would say,
Boats and hose.
oh,
Boats and hose. Um, no, they used to do that in England and Scotland. The King of Scotland took artillery, uh, blew himself up with it. But seeing that something works in one demographic and then trying to equivalate that to another way. Also, along with its flaws, finding that out.
yeah, but they learn. So, what about like 1647? How much was learned by all that? And then where are we looking right now? A battle between Lyria and Tantorum. Obviously, artillery is being used at this point. You got the MK85s. You got the what's that thing you just said? The other thing, the explosive.
Oh, the Vok
We're
547.
talking about shit like that.
Yeah,
What kind of do we have mortars? Are we dealing with it here
I
at
was
this point?
thinking.
Jesus Christ, dude. So we're talking like,
Well, they've always had mortars for quite some
well,
time, but
how
what
do
we
you
think
describe like?
of a mortar.
So are you talking those mortars like? If I imagine old school mortar, I'm imagining that like Civil War looking like fucking chunk.
Yeah.
Sitting on the ground that, like I don't even know how the hell they fucking moved it, but
I know, right? Yeah.
are you talking mortar like? I understand they've had mortar for a while, but for some reason when you said that, I just imagined like I'm gonna air quote more of a modern look to it.
Yeah, no, we're still classic.
Okay, so we got that fucking chunk of like iron just
That
sitting on the ground.
thick boy.
What kind of range do they got on those things?
Not far. They're like 300-400 meters.
And what about their artillery?
I think those could reach out for about a mile.
How
But
was mortar
ineffectively.
shorter? I thought a mortar was for more long range. What's the purpose of a mortar then?
High angle fire.
Because
Your object is to drop that round directly on top of whatever it is that you're firing at versus straight at what you're firing at. So shooting over castle walls, shooting over certain positions. Say you got like a large pond or a small lake between you and the enemy, you could shoot over that.
I see.
You don't have to worry about anything obstructing your rounds, uh, tree lines or whatever. You can shoot over that.
Okay, so I never knew that. That's interesting. So now we're talking artillery. We're long range. You'd say about a mile. Is that what you said about our artillery?
About a mile in effectively.
Can you tell me like size in millimeter? If you were to like, I know we don't have that, but if you were to take right? If you were to take a guess, I know they always talk it like that's a big deal. Like, yeah, fucking this many millimeters. Like, holy shit, whatever.
Big boy. Probably about hmm, probably about 200 meters or 200 millimeters. Wow, that's huge, man. That's like as big as this town.
Can you imagine the fucking force behind that?
This county would be gone.
Yeah,
Like
I
an
know.
atomic bomb. Yeah, 200 millimeters.
What kind of damage can that do?
You're looking at several buildings.
That's pretty tough. That's some. That's quite dangerous. How many could you go out and like? I don't know how this shit works logistically. Where are you taking those, and how are you using them?
Take them to your mom's house. Using them with the handcuffs. You're using them for high value targets. Like I said, like castles or fortifications. Um, you want to use them if you need to secure a river. You go for the most strategic point, and you try and secure uh, the mouths of rivers if there's some type of fortification there. Um, Anywhere that is valuable and vulnerable, that's where you would use it.
Okay. What about field artillery?
Field artillery, that's kind of like a standard package issue.
What's that mean?
6 inches. You always want it with you wherever you go. Um, it's just a game changer, especially if you have a skilled artillery officer. He knows where to place that, and it's definitely a deterrent for cavalry units.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, it sounds like you're very floating around
I'm-
that 1800s to
I'm-
late 1800s.
Might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of cool, man. Like, how could we make that work? Like, okay, let's say mid to late 1800s. Let's just, maybe not even too late, with this kind of 1600s feel.
That's the key. I know.
That's what we have to figure out. So,
Yeah.
and then I know you asked me about Adrana and all this. I'm like, I don't know. This kind of stuff's beyond me. I couldn't tell you. I could tell you how I play Rome Total War, and then maybe that would help you. But all I do is I put on easy mode because I don't like a challenge, and I fucking
Doesn't even a challenge.
I just line all my men up on a hill and just stand there till the battle's over. If they don't come to me, they don't come to me. And then I take my cavalry and just run and just harass them all over the battlefield. That's what I do. But that's it. I can't tell you any more than that. Like, well, what kind of like formations? There ain't no formation. That ain't my job. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that I cannot help you with when it comes to how Adrana.
Ah.
For Adrana, it's like Jacob told me once about when I had questions about North Ansar. Just think of Tantorum and just whatever Tantorum is against or is not, that's Adrana. You know what I mean? Everything that you are not, everything you don't believe. So when it comes to militarily, they'd have to line up against you, so they'd come up with whatever, they'd try to exploit whatever weakness you have. So if you want to understand Adrana, just like whatever weakness you guys have, just imagine us trying to exploit that technologically or militaristically or tactically or whatever. If that makes sense. You don't have to think of it like right now.
It'd be like a war of attrition style.
Yeah.
Kind of how the Russians had, to where they scorched earth everything. Even though it was to themselves, it was to deny the enemy. So I could imagine to the south side of Adrana, if there ever is some type of invasion, the south is always hurting.
Yeah. We would have to be very advanced in our tactics.
Yeah,
And
that's
fucking
a
with you guys.
1900s kind of thing, to where you
Yeah,
have enough
see?
food to just burn your own fields. Yeah. Are we gonna have enough potatoes? Nope, but we got turnips.
We're just like literally, we're walking into that thing I'm fearing, where it's like maybe we are in the 1900s.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? It's not a big problem changing dates on the thing, or we keep the same. I don't care. You could just literally say instead of 1647, it's 1847. Like it's not a huge deal. It's really not. That actually gives us more space to play with. But the problem is when I'm walking through the Murphos, why didn't you just take like a fucking train? Certain areas may be just not, the Murphos, maybe they're just not technologically advanced. I mean, there's suppressed fucking tribal nomadic people that live in the steppe, the people of the steppe. Imagine that mixed with, let me see, the people of the steppe mixed with like, what are those people fucking called? They will go through the desert during the Silk Roads. What is that desert? The Sahara? Is it the Sahara Desert? No, that's
You
not
talking about nomads?
No, well, I guess you could just use that word.
Gypsies.
Nomads. Sure. So that's kind of like what they are in the Murphos. They're just roaming, moving around because the shift with the shifting sands. Because this is a shifting sands desert.
Yeah.
So that's why it makes sense with them. Like, we're going to technologically advance it. Like, look at like modern day the Middle East now. Feels like they just got in the 40s in some ways. And I know not all ways, but like if you were to like look at them, their culture. If it wasn't for intervention of, communist Russia and America, they probably wouldn't have half the shit they have now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's okay for the Murphos to be a bunch of tribal fucking people. The people in the mountains, like the way I describe some of the cities in the mountains, like they have these like you build on peaks and then you move, like there's like these like almost like elevators between peaks and like bridges and all that shit. Like, yeah, I mean, we're talking high fantasy shit. So 1900s isn't a huge deal. We just got to get out of our mind the dress. If we can get ourselves out of the way they dress, I think it would be a hell of a lot easier. Think 1900, but erase all the clothes. Not like they're naked, but like imagine them wearing Bronze Age clothes in that time. Or imagine them wearing gentleman era clothes or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Elizabethan era stuff. Like, it's okay. We can figure the clothes out. That's not a huge deal. Can we wrap our mind around an 1890s to 1900s?
Spartan?
Yeah, or whatever. Book. Can you wrap your mind around this? All we have to do is make up a little bit more about Alengur, and then I make this new continent, just kind of like say some stuff about it, our trade, and throw it in there. But what the problem is like, it's just wrapping your head around all these big questions. Like, well, when Adrana gets attacked, like, and then the darkness and all that stuff, and then like, how is the race of man affected at these other continents? With these people on Alengur, like, are they even man over there, or are they another race? How is that race fucking affected by the darkness and the Forgotten King and the Whisper? And we never talk about it. So that's what scares me a little bit, is the high story part.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea how to make this work. I don't know if I've ever not felt this way after doing one of these I always feel like, Jesus fucking Christ, more problems.
Yeah.
If this was like, if I had to pay for all this shit, I'd be in the hole. Like, I can't sink my money in this bitch. This is a lot. This is just too much. I hate ending on these sad notes. Like, I don't know what to do. You got any ideas? No, I don't know what to do either. Fuck, man.
That's called progress.
It is. I know. We're moving somewhere. We have a whole set of problems that we have to solve, and then when we solve those, we have a whole new set of problems and a rewrite or two. That's not fun. You know how hard it is to do a fucking rewrite, and you just end up, you want to keep that integrity of the original. You're like, that's so good, and then you just have to end up throwing it all out. Like, I had to rewrite the entire beginning of this book, and like Martis was like, I had to delete his entire speech that I worked my ass off. But you know what they say? They say we shouldn't have to do this. So like, you should never have to do all these rewrites.
I sound like I just have to. Have to.
Right? It's like so depressing. Every time you think you got it, you think like, oh man, the book's coming together. It's starting to make sense. I've solved all these problems, and then the one little thing does. Oh, this is a bad fucking problem. That was a -6 decibels right there.
Negative. How'd you go negative?
It stays negative and then it goes to 0. 0 is too much decibels. I don't know. You'd think I would have like kept that in my head during when we were recording and Billy and Brandon were doing all that shit. You'd think I would have like retained it, but I was sitting right next to you going like, dude, guys, you want to hook me up, man? You guys want to set my rig up? Can I plug into this too? What's ohmage? You know, you gotta match the ohmage. 8 to 8. Why? 16? Does that matter? Lower to higher, higher to low. You never want to go lower or higher to low. You know, what am I, an electrician now at this fucking point? I wonder if we should. Look, it's 122. All right, man. I think we're gonna have to stop this one abruptly. I think we all.
Sounds like it's pretty fair.
Yeah. It's not gonna end in 1 here too. It's 1 seconds. So yeah, I think that's it. But we'll get together again and we'll have another conversation. So anyway, until next time.
And